Guys, what's going on? My name is Ryan. I trade ETFs and I like to make videos on the technical analysis that I'm seeing in the charts today. So here we've got US oil, which represents the price action for oil here in the United States. And we're on the weekly scale here, and I'm starting to see what looks like a complex head and shoulders bottoming pattern here. It's called an inverse complex head and shoulders. So here's a picture representation of what we want to see. So we'll have two shoulders on each side. We'll have a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and then a potential breakout range. So how does this image translate into the price action? So I can see us having two left shoulders on both sides. I see us having a left shoulder here, a head, a right shoulder, and then we're setting our right shoulder right now. And I just wanted to say right off the bat that fundamentally there are a lot of scenarios and situations that are playing out in oil here in the world that I'm simply unable to predict really. I focus 100% on technical analysis, but given that fundamental analysis and supply and demand levels will drive price action more than technical analysis will, I just wanted to say right off the bat that even though I might have one stance in US oil, the overall fundamental economic factors will probably play out. I think they'll play out specifically in US oil and none of the other videos that I have really made. That's why I'm prefacing this video by saying that there are some issues going on in the world today that might require a little bit more due diligence than simply looking at the technical analysis for US oil, and that's why I am not trading US oil until I see a clear break higher or a clear break lower. The reason I'm not trading it lower is because my analysis points towards higher prices in the short to medium term. The reason that I'm not playing it higher is because I see no clear indication of a move upwards and the fundamentals don't support higher oil prices. So with that being said, let's move on to the daily chart in oil. This is an example of a complex head and shoulders. A lot of people have been calling out a head and shoulders here in the price, and they very well might be correct. Head and shoulders on the daily is kind of like the complex head and shoulders that I was seeing on the weekly, except for it's reversed. We have two shoulders on both sides, a head and two shoulders on the right side. And we've had this long move downwards, and we've actually broken below the 61.8% Fibonacci level. And therefore, I think that we might have an ultimate move lower before we hit support at this 50% retracement level. This is getting into a bit of a longer term viewpoint. It might be 3, 4, 5 months before we come down and see $40 oil. Or if we keep moving like we have been moving and just straight all the way down, we might see it at the end of next month. But for the short term, I'm predicting a bit of a oversold bounce. We can see on my RSI for the daily that we are in oversold territory right now. We're in oversold territory over here, and my oscillators are starting to turn upwards. So from the daily, let's go to the 2 hour. So on the 2 hour, this has been the channel that we've been in for the better part of the last 6 or 7 months here, and you can definitely see right off the bat that it's to the downside. However, this presents a nice buying opportunity here at these low levels for a short-term to medium-term swing play. Right here, starting from our swing high to our swing low, I drew a time signature, which has continued to play a fairly accurate role in the price action. It spits out equidistant lines here, and so again, we have our swing high to our swing low. The next one it spits out is at our swing high. Next one is our swing low. This one is about halfway in between our high to our low. And our next one we are approaching and will probably come into hit here next week here. We can see over here on this time signature that we did not, this was actually our swing low, and we actually broke out as soon as we came across this here. And we might be seeing the same scenario play out again, where we kind of move up higher, we move sideways, and then we see a bullish run as soon as we cross this time barrier right here. I'm seeing a handful of divergences play out here in US oil. These are our regular divergences. So on our slow stochastic here, we have our oscillator bottoms making higher lows as price makes lower lows. And again here on our CCI, which is a measure of volume, we have the bears losing control as our oscillator makes higher lows, and again our price makes lower lows. So this is a regular divergence, and during this descent of the last 2 months, we can see that our RSI has not convincingly broke out above this 50% RSI level. And so I have just labeled here, RSI needs to break above 50 and it needs to hold it. So right now it looks like we are coming up and we are at the highest point in our RSI at about 55, as we've seen in the past month and a half during this descent. And as far as my overall pattern goes, I have a descending wedge going on here So marked by our high here, we have several touches all the way down, and our support here, we have several touches all the way down as well. Our price pattern would go A, B, C, D, and this would be our E. In our E, we kind of have an overthrow situation here where price breaks below our previous support line and then comes right back up into price and breaks out on the other side. So what is an overthrow pattern? So an overthrow pattern is very common here in ascending wedges as well as descending wedges. I cannot find one for a descending wedge, however this is a good example of an ascending wedge. We come up and we break out above this prior resistance level and we come back into the price action all the way down to the other side and we break out lower. So if we were to just flip this on its head, we see this playing out here at our E, and this is our overthrow pattern, and we have since broken out and moved up higher. So with the divergences taking place here, the long-term support line that we're at, the time signature, our high RSI, and our overthrow pattern, I think there's reason to believe that in the short to medium term, prices may move higher. So from the 2 hour, let's go to our 1 hour chart and see if we have anything. So looking at some potential targets here for US oil, unfortunately we did form many areas of consolidation on the way down, and therefore each of these areas is going to act as resistance on the way up. So let's just chart our Fibonacci from the swing high to the swing low here and look at areas of resistance. So first area of major resistance is going to be the 78.6 here at the $44.25 price. Our next level of resistance is going to be at the 61.8% level here at $45.86. We see that this also converges with this choppy price action in here. 50% level, which would probably be where I would sell out of my position. Full disclosure, I do have a position here in US oil because I'm predicting this dead cat bounce to play out. And so as far as the week goes, I think that we're probably going to see a little bit like we saw over here with this overthrow pattern. We come up, we flag out sideways, and then we shoot up higher. We start taking out these levels of resistance and moving up higher. So with that in mind, I can see us coming up to the 78.6, flagging out, coming up to the 61.8, consolidating, 50, and then I can see us moving up. And then the ultimate move would be hitting this resistance level. So first target as far as next week goes is 78.6 for me. This is about the $44 range, and it looks like we are making our ascent up there. Anyways, that's been my analysis this week for US oil. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my technical analysis and all these videos. I spend a lot of time on every video, and the support I've been getting has been very encouraging. Each video takes me about an hour to make, from doing the technical analysis off screen, filming it, editing it down, and finally uploading it to YouTube and sharing it to StockTwits. It takes me a lot of time. So if you got anything out of this video, I'd sincerely appreciate a thumbs up and potentially a subscription for all of the new viewers out there. That way you can get my analysis every single week, and please comment below if you have any questions on my analysis, any arguments, or any stocks that you'd like to have an opinion on. Take care, wish you the best of luck in trading next week, and I will see you next weekend. Thanks, bye.